I don't like that whole idea of rock and roll. This is youth music, and it's only for people under the age of 30 or 25 or 21, depending on your source, you know, of wherever you get your ideas from, you know. I don't like that idea at all. That whole celebration of youth, which is part of the rock and roll myth, you know. I find that sort of disgusting in a way.
There tonight for a show, but it is sold out. So since we all can't be there, here's a look at Joe live in concert.
I understand you're not very fond of your voice, although I happen to like it.
Well, I think you're in the minority, judging by some of the reviews I've been reading.
Oh. But that's, I mean, anyway, the voice isn't the thing. It's the music.
It's just
the whole
part
picture.
of it, yeah. I mean, no, I've never liked my voice. I never really wanted to be a singer. But I tried so many times to have other people sing my songs, and it never sounded right, never worked, you know. And I've almost out of necessity become a singer. But I think, you know, I've also improved a lot. I mean, I think on this album, this is definitely the best I've sung on this album, I think. I mean, it actually sounds kind of all right to me when I listen to it.
So we fight, but we fight every evening. I tell you, every morning I just love her more. And life goes on, filled with disasters and friction. And life can be strange.
You've been described, certainly in your early career, as being angry. And yet you say that people misinterpret your humor as anger.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some anger in it, and there still is now, but that's just one element. I mean, I suppose I like to think of myself as someone who, in my work, reflects all the different facets of being a human being, right? Which includes being angry, being cynical sometimes, being optimistic other times, being romantic, being disillusioned. Lots of different things. A lot of people are very ready to be sort of caricatures and just be one sort of personality in what they do, which makes it easier to sell, but I don't seem to be able to do that.
Believe it or not, I don't do anything just for the sake of being different or to try and be clever or something. I really don't. I mean, with every album, I just try to do something that's as good as I can possibly do, that's all. I'm more concerned with making it better than the last album than different to the last album. But it's natural for me to mix a lot of styles together because I just have that kind of openness to a lot of different kinds of music, and it's irresistible.
I had a pretty good handle on it, and I was able to do the vocals really quickly, most of the first or second takes, actually. And it's nice to be able to do that because that means you get out of the studio earlier and you can go and do other things, which I'd rather do.
Like what kind of other things?
Well, anything. Anything but music. I hate music.
And you
Drives me
love
crazy.
music.
Well, I like making music, but you know, I seem to have gotten saturated with it where I don't really want to hear it anymore. And the process of making a record drives me crazy because I'm not really very patient. I don't like to spend hours and hours working on things in the studio. I sort of like them to just be more spontaneous, I suppose, which is why I always prefer playing live.
I'm not interested in style, you know, I'm interested in writing good songs, you know. I don't think of them as being one thing or another in terms of style, you know. That's for other people to decide. I always like to feel that my songs are fairly universal. I don't like to think that I'm sort of saying, well, you know, this is a little part of my own experience, this precious thing that I have found, and here it is, and I know you're not going to understand it, but I don't care, you know? Or if you can't understand this, you're stupid, or, you know, you can't understand this song because you've never been to New York or something, you know? I like to think the songs have something more universal about them.
How much influence did you draw from reggae music? I know that you were a big fan of Bob Marley.
Yeah, well, I was, yeah. Well, I still am. But there's a lot of other reggae about, you know. Yeah, reggae influences me a lot, mainly because it's the sort of music that I enjoy most. So I listen to reggae probably more than any other sort of music. I mean, like 9 times out of 10 when I put on an album at home, it's a reggae album. And, I mean, I'm not consciously trying to imitate it or anything, but it's just that because I listen to it all the time, it seems to come out in my own music. On the second album, I was probably writing too much about myself and what I was going through. So now I'm trying to write about things that are important to everyone. You know, and it's important to me to write about things that I think are important, you know, and not just become like self-indulgent or something.